Okay, we have our two pieces now. Again, a little bit of a flat on the top, but I think overall it turned out fine. I decided not to try to sand out all that bozo there because I still want this full thickness here. So that'll just be on the back side. These will go in, again, pinned like that. And what we'll have is a piece of linkage to go between these. Now, as I mentioned before, I'm concerned a little bit about the depth of this slot, of it being deep enough. So what I'm going to do, I've got a piece of 1/8 inch here. I'm going to mill out this whole section right up here to make kind of a short U piece with a hole in each end right here. Round these off, and then I think with that setting down there, I believe I'll have plenty enough room for linkage. If not, I'll have to take it out and sand it back a little bit more. But I'm going to carry this over to the bandsaw now and rough it out. Rough out this section we're going to take out in here, and then set it up on the mill to drill the holes and clean up from the bandsaw. I've got the linkage piece roughed out now. Did that on the bandsaw. I've got it back in the mill vise. My parallel is basically the same width as this, so I've got a couple pieces of copper wire again in here to press up against our workpiece. And I'm just going to square this off in here, mill that out, clean it up. And again, I'm just milling down to my scribe line. See if I can go down just a couple more thousandths, clean that up good. And these deburred, and then we'll put a couple little holes in there. I have punched these out, and that punch mark is our what did I say, 2 3/4 inches on center. So I'm going to carry this over to the belt sander and round these corners right here. While I'm there, I'll just clean up everything, and we'll come back and drill this piece out. Alright, we got the corners rounded off on the belt sander. Got it back over on the mill now. We're going to drill out. And that is 2 3/4 inches over, so I've got X zeroed now. I'll go 2 3/4. And that should be pretty close to my mark, which it is. And these are 1/4 inch as well. back to the 0. Alright, so there's our linkage that's going to swing back and forth to tie the two pieces together. I'll deburr this and I'll do a rough fit together over on the bench. Alright, we have the main part of the body built now. As I said earlier in the video, I will be making shoulder bolts to go down here so we don't have a threaded bolt riding on this aluminum all the time. It'll be a good round shoulder, smooth shoulder. But again, the way this will work, these will be screwed into the housing on the mill, just like these were originally, and then the first solution I come up with. Imagine these parts staying still now, but that linkage will swing them together. And as it swings, it's kind of hard to hold these in place. But as that swings, that will tighten it that way. And you see, I've got, right there was where I was concerned about having enough travel. And I've got plenty now that I've made this into a U-shaped piece. So the next part we want to look at, I think, is going to be cleaning up these bolts. I don't want bolt head sticking out there. I want to take this hex off of this and put a just a screwdriver slot in there, and may work on the shoulder bolts as well now at the same time. I need to go check my mail, postal mail. I have some 8mm 5C collets on the way that's supposed to be out for delivery right now, that'll help me hold this to cut the slot in there. But I think that's probably what we'll get on to next, is cleaning these bolts up. And then the next thing we'll need to do is fabricate a handle for this. I think I've got something already over there in my scrap parts bin off of another project that will work just fine on this. So go check my mail and maybe be set up on the lathe when we come back. Alright, I decided I'd go on over there and look through my I don't want to call it scrap bin because it's not scrap, just my spare material, we'll call it that. And here's the handle I had. I needed to mill it down. Actually what I did was just take my little propane torch, heated it up, got a reasonably good measurement over there, I think, to give plenty of room, and heated it up, put a bend on it, and then flattened it out. Now what I'm going to do is mark this hole up here and thread that. I'll just use a soggy head cap screw in that. But I'm just going to mark and thread this piece off camera, but that's what the linkage will look like when it's done. Okay, we're over at the lathe now. What I'm going to do is clean up the 8mm bolts, take the hex off of it, and that will give me an idea of what diameter material to use for the shoulder bolts, so that they all appear to be the same. So we're going to face the end of it now. Got my carriage locked down. And what I'm going to do is just go ahead and face both of them while I've got the carriage locked. we'll get it up a little closer to the chut. We'll turn that hex off. And the only reason again that I'm doing this is just to make it look a little better. One more time and that should have it. That looks good. And it's already got a little chamfer on the end down there from where I didn't face it all the way flat, just from the factory. Alright, I'll measure these, see what size stock I want to use for the shoulder bolts, and be back in a minute. Alright, it turned out that the diameter on these metric bolts after I turned the hex off was 0.495, half inch. As it turns out, the only thing I had in my supply bin over there that was half inch was a piece of stainless steel. So I've got this piece of mystery material that's, I don't know, somewhere around 3/4. We're going to turn that down. We'll face it of course first. Got the carriage lock. Now we're going to turn this, a pretty good section down to half inch to have something to work with, and then we'll get into our calibrations or calculations on how much of a shoulder we need. Oops, excuse the mop. Set my carriage stop just so that I don't run into the chut. We'll come to, I don't know, along here it'll be fine. Alright, carriage stop, or the carriage stop is locked. So we'll get a turn on there and then set our DRO and measure it. Alright, that's 675, 85, 86, 87, 688. Alright. Looks like I have to write this down, don't all forget it's 688. And we want 500. So we want to take off 188 thousandths off of the diameter. So I'll zero out the x-axis. We want to take 188, so off the diameter, I'm going to start with about 50 thousandths. I'll get a little more this time, get about 70 thousandths. Alright, we set 188. Since this is not a real crucial measurement, test out the DRO at scales, and I'm going to set that to 188. And then again, we'll just see how close that come out. This is just a head diameter of the shoulder bolt. It's 2 thousandths under. I believe I can live with that. As a matter of fact, it's it's close to what the other ones was at 495. This is 75, 95, 96, 498, 2 thousandths shy of a half inch. Taking 188 thousandths off in 3 cuts, I believe that's pretty good. All right. Now, this is going to be the head. So the next step down we need to step down is to a 1/4 of an inch. And how much do we want to take? We want to leave the thickness for the head, which to keep it about the same as this. The head thickness was about 200 thousandths. So let's zero out the Z. All right, 200 thousandths plus the thickness of our cutoff. There's the 200 thousandths, and our cutoff blade is 94 thousandths. So we'll go to 300 thousand. And again, zero out the Z. And we'll put our carriage stop right there. See how well we repeat. 1,000. 1,000, I believe we can live with that. So now we're going to take this shoulder down to a 1/4 inch. This is going to run wild a little bit in length to begin with. What we'll wind up is the amount that we're going to thread is what we'll cut off to get everything to length. So let's zero out this. We're at 500 thousandths. We need to get 250 thousandths, so we got a ways to go. Alright, let's see where we are. $250s. We're at 263, so we need 13 more thousandths. I'll go all 13. We may have to take another small pass on that to make it go through the 1/4 inch hole. This is going to make it a 1/4 inch, and we will have to have it just like the underside, of course. Alright, let's see. Looks just fine to me. Now, to bring it down to the threaded portion, I'm going to set the carriage stop right there and give it just a little. The idea of a shoulder bolt is we want the nut to bottom out on the shoulder before it actually hits this piece. We're going to put a nut on this end down here, but we want it to bottom out on the shoulder we're fixing to make, instead of bumping out on the and squeezing this end. If we squeeze this end, then we squeeze it on our piece of linkage. Now that's tied up against it now. I'm going to set that, and I want just a few. I'm going to give it about 20 thousandths of shoulder beyond there. Alright, let me zero that. And I used a micro adjust on the carriage stop down here, and that repeats the zero. Now, number 10 bolt, this is going to be a number 10 thread on here, and if I'm reading my chart right, number 10 should be 190 thousandths. We're at, if we set that to zero right there, well, let's make one more little pass so that we got a good zero. It's 247 thousandths. 247 minus 190. That's 57 thousandths off the diameter. Right? Okay, I'm going to go check my parts and see what I got as far as number 10 nuts. Well, I got 1024 or 1032. Alright, 1024 is what I've got over there, nuts and a dime. And one of these days I'm going to stop long enough, all the other stuff I'm doing, and do some single point threading. But I just can't make myself tear down the current gear setup and put in the necessary change gears to tap 2 little bolts. So what I'm going to do is cheat and use a die, and I'm going to use the tailstock as a to put pressure, keep constant force on there. And I think we'll be okay. Alright, that's tapped up to the shoulder now, or is threaded up to the shoulder. It's just hard to stop and do all that setup for threading for something this small and this size, and I think I'm probably going to, alright, got a little burr somewhere on there. Probably going to have to put a washer and grab a washer right quick. What we want this nut to do is tighten up to that shoulder. Exactly what we want right there. So now we're going to take this one off. Well, we're going to part this one off. The next one we build will be just like this. The only difference is it will need to be thick enough for the handle and this, so the shoulder need to be a little bit longer on there. I probably will not try to video that. I think where my burr right there is right there on that shoulder. I don't want to put much of a chamfer on there because I want to save that shoulder. But I'm going to clean just a little of that burr off there. Tell you what, let's do it with a file. Alright, now we're ready to part this this bolt off. And if our measurements are correct, we should be able to go up to that first shoulder where we cut down to a 1/2 inch. Just a little bit right there. I like to lock the carriage down when I'm parting. Alright. Slow RPM down. kind of warm, that's why I didn't hold it up there and show it to you. Alright, we got to clean that little tit off the end. But as you can see, what we have is a shoulder bolt now. That's too hot to hold on to right now. Let's clean that little bit up off the end. It's obvious my tool didn't set all the way down. There's a chip under there. Alright, when we get back to the mill, get ready to start cutting slots in all of our bolts. We'll put a screwdriver slot in that and clean that up on one more pass. Alright, that looks considerably better. Now, as I say, I've got one more to make, just same process, just a little longer length. I will do that one off camera, and then when we get ready to cut the slots in, I'll bring you back.